The soul itself may be unique to you, yet it does not mean that it needs to or is required to stay in the same collection of information. So the soul may split. The soul may become more than one being in the human world. Aloha, good morning, everyone, and welcome. Could somebody give me a thumbs up or some type of emoji to make sure I have audio? All right. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. All right. Love it. All the thumbs up. Lots of hands waving to everybody. All right. Today's a special day, isn't it? It's the year of the fire horse. So happy Lunar New Year, Chinese New Year, to those of you who celebrate or just know about it and think it's kind of cool. I did send out a bunch of text messages yesterday to various people, but not yesterday, the day before. I was on the big island of Hawaii, now called Hawaii Island, and I was visiting Kilauea. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with the Hawaiian Islands, the Big Island is the only island in the chain that has an active volcano. And while I was there on February 15th, Kilauea erupted for approximately 10 hours. And I somehow managed to be on that island at the time. And I waited the 4 hours to get into the park and saw an active volcano erupting, and that was really quite spectacular. I thought it was a great way to start off the, the new year. It is the year of the fire horse. So, for those of you who don't know anything about that and have an interest, go ahead and check it out. Do a little searching. But Kilauea was quite an experience. It rained the entire time. It was about 48 degrees Fahrenheit, so it was cold for me. For some of you, that's probably warm. And I could feel the heat of the volcano as it was erupting. The spout that was going off was, um, it looked like a geyser. So the lava was shooting straight up into the air like a fountain. And I'll put some of the photos in our group chat in Telegram so you can see it. I got back late last night, so I haven't had a chance to do that yet, but I'll put the photos in the Telegram group so you can all check it out. Quite powerful, and I think it's going to have a little bit of an effect on what the message is for today. The blue beings were with me while I was standing there. I was having a little conversation with them, and they say this year is going to be really quite interesting, so I'm looking forward to that. Announcements for Jan Wakefield and my upcoming exciting things that are happening. The Bali retreat is in September. I will launch that in March, so keep an eye out on the webpage. If you have questions about it, I certainly have a lot of answers. It's just not built out yet in the website. So you can reach out to me in a private message. The children's retreat is in Hawaii. It's here on Honolulu. It's in Honolulu on the island of Oahu. So if you have children and you would like to join me for a children's retreat, we will learn about dimensional walking. We will learn about talking to dimensional beings, starseed connections. We're going to learn lots of things and experience for the kids. Telepathy, how to practice that skill and to do it well, and all kinds of interesting things. Animal communication, communicating with spirit guides, speaking to people who are in between the worlds. So for kids, they're always really open and welcoming when it comes to information like this. So it will be for kids and parents. It's not a summer camp experience. It is kids and their parents have to come at the same time, or one parent has to be with them. It's very inexpensive, and you get to visit Hawaii in the middle of the summer. So it's a great time to be here. Quite beautiful. There will be a membership program also too. I have that being built out right now. It's in the phase where it's to be tested, and once I am sure that it's operational and working well, then I'll let you all know about that. So it's coming in the next 3 to 4 weeks. and exciting stuff's happening. I'll be in a lot of events. I'll be at the Dr. Joe retreat in San Diego in a couple of weeks for those of you attending. I'm looking for a volunteer to assist me with a channeling session that I'll be doing once the retreat is over. I'll be in Sedona at the Ascension retreat at the 21 and 22 of March. So also a few weeks out. April, I'll be in Denver again at a Dr. Joe retreat. If you're there, I'll see you there. And May, I have two events. One is the first weekend, the Mind, Body, Spirit Expo in Honolulu. So if you're here, come see me. And then the weekend immediately following, I have a booth at the Channel Panel. So that is in Oceanside, California. I'll send out lots of information in the group chat about all of these events. And I hope you all can make it, or some of you. I'd always love to see you in person. So thanks for being here again today. If you would, go ahead and close your eyes and we'll get started. Okay. Settling into the moment, allowing your body to relax. Whatever you're doing, some of you are on the move, and that's perfectly okay. Just remember that you can still relax your body while in action. Use the breath to draw space into any areas of tension, pervasive thoughts. And as you check in with the body, look in areas that maybe you don't give a lot of attention to. So, like your fingers or your toes. Maybe for some of you, it's your shoulders from working on the computer, your forearms, just breathing space into any areas of tension. And now looking into the thoughts for a moment. What are we thinking about today? Maybe you're thinking about the past, thinking about the future. Whatever it is, focus on the breath and what it feels like to fill the lungs, expanding that whole area wide. And checking in with your feelings. For some of you, anxiety is present. Just welcome it with your loving arms and say to yourself, I got you. I got you. And if depression is reality in your world, breathe deeply into the body and say to yourself, this is temporary. Joy is here as well. And I allow myself to embrace both. And continuing to keep your eyes closed, we will begin with the heart breath. Breathe in through 6 and 5 to 4. Expand the heart wide. And release front to back and up to 8. And breathe in through 6 and 5 to 4. Release front to back and up to 8. Breathe in through 6 and 5 to 3. Release front to back and up to 8. Continuing, breathing in through 6 and 5 to 3. If you are new to the breath practice, simply follow along breathing in and out. Release front to back and up to 8. Breathe in through energy centers 6 and 5. Bring the breath down to 2, below the belly button. Allow the energy center to expand wide. Release front to back and up to 8. Breathe in through 6 and 5 to 1 at the base of the spine. Release front to back and up to 8. Breathe in through 6 and 5 to 4, 3, 2, and 1 at once, expanding these energy centers or chakras wide. Release front to back and up to 8. You're doing so very well. Breathe in through 6 and 5 to 5. Right at the throat. Release front to back and up to 8. Again, breathe in through 6 and 5 to 5. Release front to back and up to 8. Breathe in through 6 and 5 to 6. Release front to back and up to 8. Breathe in through 6 and 5 to 6, 5, and 4 at the same time. Release front to back and up to 8. In through 6 and 5 to 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 all at the same time. Release front to back and up to 8. Breathe in through 6 and 5 to 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release front to back and up to 8. Again, in through 6 and 5, illuminating and expanding energy centers 7 down to 1. Release front to back and up to 8. And breathe in 6 and 5 to 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release front to back and up to 8. One more time. In through 6 and 5 to 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Expand the centers wide. Release front to back and up to 8. Now breathe in through 6 and 5 to 4. Expand the heart wide. Release front to back and up to 8. Again, in through 6 and 5 to 4. Expand the energy center of the heart around the body. Now release the energy from the front of the heart to the back, up the spine to 8. In through 6 and 5 to 4. Release front to back and up to 8. Now resume your natural breathing. Scan your body again, noticing the space that you've created for yourself. This breath practice is available to you at any time. Repeat it as often as you like. And for the sake of preparation for the session today, focus your intention on the 8th energy center. It is directly above the head. It shines like your moon, a small orb about the same size as your head, resting in the space just above the crown of your head. The 8th energy center holds the collective information of all humanity. When you exhale or inhale, you are touching this energy center, with or without your knowledge or intention. Simply know that you are sharing information and receiving information from the collective of humanity all the time. The 8th energy center is the orb above your head that is often depicted in spiritual artwork in the form of a halo. So you, too, have a halo. And for those of you who can see the energy centers, you can see the halo belongs to each individual, not just a specific few. As you focus your intention on the 8th energy center, you will do the next breath practice in a spiral. You will breathe in from 8, taking the spiral all the way down the spine to 1, concluding the in-breath at the first energy center, the base of the spine. And then with the exhale, you will release the breath, spiraling up around your spine, back to the 8th energy center. In from 8 to 1, and releasing from 1 to 8. Begin the breath cycle now. Breathe in from 8 to 1 in a spiral around the spine. Release and exhale from 1 back up to 8. Continue this breath at your own pace. In from 8 to 1. And release 1 to 8. In 8 to 1. Release 1 to 8. Very nicely done. Continue 8 to 1. Drawing information from the collective of humanity. Release 1 to 8. Now releasing information from you back to the collective of humanity. In 8 to 1. The answers to all your questions are in the 8th energy center. Release 1 to 8. Your challenges and struggles may be released with the exhale into 8. In 8 to 1. Release 1 to 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 8. 3 more times in 8 to 1. Release 1 to 8. In 8 to 1. Release 1 to 8. In 8 to 1. Release 1 to 8. And resume your natural breathing. This breath alone reduces pain and symptoms for certain illnesses. It releases the challenges of the human body and the challenges of the emotional state of the human world. This breath can be practiced at any time. Please return to it frequently. When you are ready, we will take your first question.
Thank you. The first question comes from Louisa. Could you speak about how souls exist across realms? How one soul might be having multiple experiences at the same time or outside of linear time?
This is an excellent question and relevant to all of you. And if you think about the human world and how it expresses itself on a day-to-day basis, you can see something in the natural world as being a metaphor for the question that you have asked. So, for example, when you are in a space, your body is doing something. You may be cooking and watching a program on your phone. You may be talking to someone. You may be on a call. All of these things are happening simultaneously, yet you do not consider to think how one thing must exist at a time. Instead, you do multiple things at once. Drive your car, listen to music, talk to your children, have a phone call. All of these things happen without any challenges on your part if you are relaxed into the experience of multitasking. So the question that you ask is one that we will answer in several different parts because you asked about the soul, you asked about timelines, and you asked about existence across dimensions. And these things are all independent, yet they exist at the same time as well. So you are asking about the soul. And to be clear, from our perspective, the soul is a collection of energy that you define as yourself. It is the essence of who you are that remains the same to some degree across lifetimes. So if you have chosen to incarnate on the human world and you have elected to be a human, in fact, instead of some other type of living thing on your planet, which is certainly possible, the essence that is you, that you describe as your soul, goes with you from lifetime to lifetime, experience to experience. And this essence that is you, the soul, has a quintessential memory pattern that takes itself from one place to the next. So keep that in mind as we continue to answer. The soul itself may be unique to you, yet it does not mean that it needs to or is required to stay in the same collection of information. So the soul may split. The soul may become more than one being in the human world. You could leave this body that you're in currently at the end of your life and choose to become one or more humans, one or more beings on the planet. So it is not a one-to-one ratio. And if you are thinking about the soul as being one single thing, one single expression of possibility, perhaps it is time to open and expand your concept of what the soul is. So that answers one thing that you have asked, information about the soul. And then there are timelines. Timelines are essentially you multitasking. You're doing more than one existence at a time. And for many of you, you like to think that being in multiple timelines means that you are in the same form, that you are you, and maybe it is a different iteration of the same life you have created this lifetime. That is certainly possible. Yet think again outside the box, outside of what you believe to be true. Perhaps if you are on multiple timelines, you have different ways of expressing yourself. And this one soul, as you have described it, this one collection of energy, memories, information, whatever you wish to perceive it to be, comes in multiple forms. It could be parallel timelines on the same planet. It could be timelines that exist on Earth and in other places, which would then bring up the conversation of traveling through dimensions. And this is, of course, entirely possible. Many of you are already doing it, and this can be more readily seen in children. Children will often talk about their dimensional travels and how they exist in multiple places at once. So, for example, children may fall asleep and find themselves having experiences in another place, another planet, another dimension, and they will awaken and tell their parents about the experience. And for the most part, parents will choose to simply say this is a dream or it's not true. However, if you were to allow your children to remember, to believe in the possibility that they are having multiple experiences at once, the memories will continue. And in addition, once these young humans, or even those of you who are adults, begin to remember that you exist in multiple dimensions or realities or timelines at the same time, the memories will emerge for more and more of you as the collective becomes stronger in the conversation of allowing multiple existences at the same time. We believe there will be a follow-up question at some point about more specifics about how to actively be awake in other timelines, other dimensions, and how to reincarnate or come back with awareness so that you can choose the next lifetime that you have. All of these compelling topics would be great for other questions, so be sure to write them down so that as we begin to expand your awareness around your own existence, you will find that little by little, this information will piece together in a very expansive and enlightening story. We will take the next question.
Thank you. The next question comes from Sean. I recently interacted with you and others in a private channeling session and am deeply grateful for your love and guidance. Were any of the beings present of my lineage, whether Starseed or other? And can you say more about my qualities as generator and how this is in service to awakening?
Thank you again for coming back to us, Sean. And we remember the experience of having the conversation with you. Your starseed origin is in the space, as are many others, for individuals who are here, and there are quite a few dimensional beings who are just observing the experience. More and more come to this space as more and more of you come to this space as well. So we see that, Sean, you have numerous beings here with whom you can communicate. And for you to take some time along the way to practice your communication with the dimensional beings. Remember that it will only be an individual process, and this is true for each of you, that you have to learn the form of communication that is true for you. So, in other words, while we can offer ways of communicating, only you can be the one to fully understand what your starseed beings are communicating to you. As we have described in previous sessions, try working with the human sensory perceptions, sight, which could be internal sight with the eyes closed, a visual perception, sound, what do you hear, particularly when your eyes are closed, smell, taste, and just an overall general sense of feeling with the body. You are perceiving the dimensional beings at all times through the breath and through the skin. Your skin is your greatest sensory organ. Put it to use and see what it can do for you. There is a dimensional group here, in specific, that shows the appearance of something similar to ants on your planet. So, like an insect, with very heightened senses of awareness, this ant species is here specifically for one or more of you. So if you are wondering if this group of individuals that appear like ants do on your planet is somehow connected to you, close your eyes and simply begin to sense into it. If this ant species could communicate with you, how would you receive the information? And for those of you doing the practice as well, with your other available starseed information or origin beings, notice that the more you enter into the silence of within and focus on the breath, allowing the brain, the heart, and the belly to synchronize together, your perceptual abilities increase little by little. And with practice, you will become much better at it. So enjoy the process. Sean, you ask about being a generator. So many of you are generators. Let's take a moment to see what that looks like together. Close your eyes and explore an inward gaze. Find the heart and find the energy center of the heart, using the breath to allow it to expand wide around you. And when you release the breath in the exhale, release the energy up the spine to 8. Notice that the release of the breath and the energy to 8 allows 8 to expand wide. So again, breathe in to the heart in any way that works for you. Through 6 and 5, down through the spiral, just a general breath. It's all valid. and release from the heart to 8, allowing all the information that is you to mingle in 8 with the collective energy of humanity, of the earth itself. And with your eyes closed, focus on the 8th energy center. Breathe in and out gently and carefully. And notice the 8th energy center is not a static thing. It is constantly in motion. If you listen carefully, you can hear the voices of humanity. You can hear the clicking of insects. You can hear the hum, buzz, and whir of wings. The information of the 8th energy center is available to you. And now take a moment to connect the breath to the 0 energy center, which is just below the spine, the base of the spine. This energy center is not as often spoken about, so it may take you a moment to feel into the 0 energy center, just below 1. Notice how different the sensation is from 8. 0 is your distinct connection to Earth itself. And when those of you who have hyperactive or hypersensitive bodies, nervous systems, etc., energy center 0 could be very helpful for you to tap into. Energy center 0 is designed to assist you in connecting to the earth energies. It should be very grounding for you. And now focus on your breath again and breathe in from 8 to 0 in a spiral around the spine. And release 0 to 8. Continue that breath as we explain a bit more. As you breathe in from 8 to 0, your 2-strand DNA is activated. It looks like a spiraling ladder. One side carries the information from 8 down to 0. The other side is the connection from 0 back up to 8. This energy pathway, the 2-strand DNA, in the spiral around the spine, informs your cells of new information and receives from the cells information that needs to be released. And so you breathe in from 8 to 0 in a spiral and release from 0 to 8. It's okay. You do not need to think about it so much. Simply know that you are breathing in from 8 to 0. There's a spiral involved, and then you release and exhale from 0 back up to 8. The less you try, likely the easier it will be to do. And now what happens as you breathe in and 8 in the spiral around the spine? You are activating and communicating with all of the other energy centers along the way. And for those of you who are generators, this is the source of what you generate, connecting 8 to 0 around the spine, activating the energy centers. And now remember for a moment when you did the heart breath, breathing in through 6 and 5, illuminating and expanding all of the energy centers from 7 down to 1. And you released front to back and up to 8. Think about and try to do a combination of these two breath practices at the same time. In from 8 to 0, in illuminating the energy centers, releasing 0 to 8, while releasing front to back and up to 8. So now you are multitasking again. You are a generator. You can do both breath practices at the same time. You're getting there. Try again. Breathing in, spiral, illuminating energy centers, activating information, and releasing. So you can see the complexity of you that is you. If you can breathe in and out, this practice of being a generator is available to you. So that means all of you. If you can multitask in the human world, you can multitask across the dimensions. And so now we are ready for your next question.
Thank you. This question is from Eilika. I keep coming up against the belief of being unworthy and not good enough in general, but especially in my work as an osteopath. How can I move forward with this? I want to serve in wholeness for wholeness.
And you are already doing so. You already serve in wholeness, for wellness. And yet still you are a human being, and the experiences of your feelings and the tension in your body are emerging. This is perfectly okay. Life in the human body is not a competition, even if you may consider it to be somewhat of a sport. It should be fun. So feelings of unworthiness in this moment for you have happened in the past. So when it arises, a feeling of unworthiness, pause for a moment and say these things to yourself. What am I feeling? When I feel unworthy, what does that feel like in terms of regular human emotions? Are you anxious or sad? Are you angry or in fear? If you were to distill human emotions down to two representations, it would be fear and love. And that's all. So take for a moment your feeling of fear, because anything that is not love automatically is fear. So your feelings of unworthiness are not aligned with your heart in love. And this is okay. Identifying it as being what it is. Identify unworthiness as fear. And what now are you afraid of? Imposter syndrome? not feeling like you're going to be able to help people, the fear that you have to fix people and cannot, the fear that your advice will not be sound, whatever it might be, simply identify it. Identify the feeling and ask yourself a few additional questions. Tell me more. Identify more information around it. And then identify how old you were when it first started. The majority of you, if not all of you, have trauma responses that relate to your childhood, to past lives, to experiences that brought fear into you. It's not a one-to-one relationship, however. You cannot say that as a child you felt imposter syndrome, because likely you were just a child who had a moment in time that sent you into a state of fear, and it became something that repeated itself without any thought for how it expressed itself, because you were a child and your brain was not yet fully developed. But now it is. So identify the feeling. Identify when you felt it before. And then identify where it is in your body. So when you are thinking about this in the identification process, you might find that one shoulder begins to rise, that your toes begin to curl, that your fingers or your hands feel tight. Maybe your spine is beginning to hurt, your low back, your hips. Identify where in the body the tension resides around this one moment you are having, and breathe into that space. Close your eyes. This all can happen in the span of less than a few seconds, because you will become pretty good at it. Those of you who are in a body, you've made it to adulthood, a lot of fear still exists within you. It's okay. Just identify it. And then take a moment to interrupt that sensation with love. You will close your eyes, sense into the body where the tension resides, the thought resides, the fear, the pain, the suffering resides. Find that small child within you and soothe the child who had the original trauma. Wrap your arms lovingly around her, around them, and say to yourself, "This is a memory from a time that was a long time ago, and now I am an adult, and I am going to be the mother, the father, the parent to the child who is suffering some trauma within myself." Once you can interrupt that sensation you are experiencing of trauma that is now bleeding through to the present and the life that you have, imagine what it is you want. What would you like to have instead? Likely it is pure love. So then you take a moment to open your heart. Perhaps you have a patient in front of you, and you say to yourself, "I experienced my childhood trauma again, yet I am with a patient. I know right now is not the time to maybe say these things out loud, but with my breath, I am going to soften my inward gaze toward myself, open my heart just a little bit more to the patient in front of me. Look at them with eyes of love and compassion, and recognize that they are a projection of you. That if you can love the patient in front of you, accept, feel compassion for, and embrace with your inward gaze the part of you that is right in front of you, appearing to be another person, that love will spread inside you and the trauma will cease to take hold. It will take a little bit of practice, but you are capable, and we believe in you. And we know that it will take less and less time each time you practice loving yourself by loving the person in front of you, loving the child within you, without ever having to take action of any kind. It is through the gaze, the opening of the heart, and the breath that you will soothe this temporary experience of fear. And for those of you who identify with this process as well, you may do the same practice with your own story, in your own experiences, because this is relevant to each of you. We'll take the next question, please.
Thank you. The next question comes from Andrea. Dear dimensional friends, do what many humans refer to as animals communicate with you? And if so, may you please share details about what the animals communicate?
Of course, you know this, but we'll remind you humans are also animals. So we communicate with you all the time, and we communicate with other living beings on your planet. For us, there is no distinction between the two. There is no hierarchy. There are simply patterns and vibrational frequencies of each living thing on your planet. And those vibrational frequencies are perceived by us. We are unclear about your question in that there is part of you that wants to know how you can communicate with the animals on your planet. Knowing that we communicate with the animals and perceive the messages that they give us, we suppose could be helpful. So we'll share a bit about that and then give you a little information on how to communicate with other creatures on your planet from the human perspective. For us, we are here to assist humans in the ascension process. What that means is we are teaching skills for reducing or eliminating tension in the human body, because it is within that tension that the ascension process is limited. Limited because you have to breathe space into the cells of your body in order to expand wide enough within you to release the need for the 3D experience. When that occurs, you will be able to understand the violet people and how they exist between the fifth and the third dimensions at will, and sometimes simultaneously. It is where you all are heading, if you choose to do so. Other living things on your planet also have a little bit of an ascension process, and the communication we have with other beings, both animals, plant life, stones, animate and inanimate objects from your perceptual state, we have the ability to communicate with these other things that are on your planet, including the weather, the elements, and perhaps what you do not see, which is the vibrational patterns and frequency of sunlight, of the communication with the moon, and many, many other things that you have yet to even discover as being something for which you can have a conversation. So when we communicate with animals, it is generally about their own ascension process or about their connection to starseed information, particularly if it comes from the origin where we are. We have starseed life forms on the human planet all over your world. And so we will be checking in on those. We will be checking in on plants, animals, and other things that exist in the human world simply for our own scientific research. If you are interested in speaking to animals, it is very simple. You simply have to be seated, standing, walking in nature in your home, and allow yourself at first to close your eyes. Humans are very distracted by the visual capacity. And so if you have an animal in your home, sit with the animal, either close or not close, but make sure the animal is not active in the moment that you wish to communicate. It will make it easier for you to find the vibrational pattern and frequency of the animal who you are attempting to speak with. So as you close your eyes, breathe into the heart, your own heart, and allow that energy center to expand wide. And as you expand the energy center wide, allow the heart energy center to include your pet, include the animal with whom you wish to speak. Inhale, expand the energy center wide, include the pet. You may find that the pet begins to move. Maybe the pet will get up and walk away, or go outside. This is simply because it is not your energy field that is activating the pet. It is your intention of trying to communicate. So you are sending out desire, which is a little irritating sometimes to the pet's nervous system. In other words, try a soft approach. Simply breathe, expand, and feel love. Keep it simple. When the pet is still and remains in the same place, with your energy center around it, you're getting a little closer. This means that you can relax into just breathing in and out, knowing that your heart energy center is encompassing your pet. And in doing so, you will begin to sense and perceive. Their energy field expands in and out with the breath as well, interacting with yours. Avoid asking questions the first few times. Instead, receive answers. Receive their questions. Likely the first few times, you will hear nothing but conversation from your pet about food, about water, about playing, about being outside, or whatever it loves to do most. For some of you, your pet is going to say, "Leave me alone, I'm napping." All of these basic conversations are the beginning of communicating with your animal. In doing so more frequently, once a day, twice a day, you will become a little bit better at perceiving the messages beneath it. You may begin to perceive the animal's purpose and why it has selected you to be its companion. And in knowing this information, you may find that you are joyful or sad, depending on how it is perceived. So allow yourself the opportunity to simply listen. Once you have established with your pet that you are capable of listening to its heart and what it is emitting to you in the form of some type of communication, you will find that then you will be permitted to ask questions. At that time, remember, keep your questions very simple. Pets are complex to a certain degree, but only some of them, not all of them. Many pets have very basic communication skills, and with time, that may expand. With your communication and love, that may expand. But until then, simply accept it for what you perceive. Trust that what you are receiving is the truth for you. We will take the next question, please.
I'll mention that we're at the top of the hour, and the next question comes from Laura. Dear dimensional beings, does the focused life force energy device really work to raise the vibration of a place, a home, or a living being?
Yes, this device works. However, we would not say that it is the most efficient or the most effective. It requires power, yet the device itself could use to be sent through a little bit more testing. The manufacturer, those who produced this device, perceive it at the highest potential of their own perceptual abilities. Yet, in terms of what is possible on the earth, what would be a valuable tool for spaces, etc., would be to continue in the exploration process of creating devices that are similar but greater in its ability to be effective with what you require. Meaning that devices designed to clear spaces, such as this one, will be effective for those with lower vibrational patterns and frequencies. It will help to raise their vibrational pattern and frequency of their home, as it is related to the projection of the energy frequency from their own physical bodies, meaning that the home and those who inhabit the home are in a symbiotic relationship vibrationally. So this device, of course, can be very effective for many, many people on your planet. However, for you, you may have already ascended beyond the efficacy of this device for you. Look for one that is more powerful, more effective, and a little less defined in how it is presenting itself in the space. There's far too much human information in there. For a device to be effective, the information needs to come from somewhere outside of the human realm. It may be assembled by human parts, but there needs to be information within that is received from starseed information or information from other planets. As we have described very clearly, and will say again, everything on your planet is imbued with some form of starseed information. And so perhaps the device that you seek, or for those of you who have the mind for building out such a device, we recommend you do so and enjoy the adventure. Look to the natural world to include elements or stones, metals that contain information that will assist the device in producing a multiplier effect for the purpose of clearing spaces and impacting individuals and their vibrational patterns and frequency as a result of raising the vibrational frequency of the dwelling and the components it's made of. So these devices have the capacity for raising the vibrational frequency for the home and the materials that it's made of. In doing so, it will create a vortex within that will assist individuals who live there with raising their vibrational frequencies as well. What an interesting and delightful symbiotic relationship. Perhaps in another session, we will assist you in and helping to define the components of this device so that one or more of you can produce them for your homes. In addition, scalar technology could assist in this process. And the answer for this question is complete at this time. We are happy to return to it in the future as more information awakens within all of you to make this device a reality in the not too distant future. We are downloading the information to all of you and sending it out into the human world in the hopes that this device will be produced in the very near future. It will assist in the worldwide ascension process. We thank you once again for your time, for your ability to be in the space and listen to the questions and answers. For those of you who are new to the space, we welcome you to come back again and again. Know that we are always available to answer your questions directly in your meditations or the quiet times before you fall asleep or when you first awaken in the morning. We are often most available to you when you are out in nature and allow your nervous system to relax and calm down. So enjoy this time you have together, and we will see you in the next session. The violet people recede from the space. Many dimensional beings who are here to observe are receding from the space, and we, the blue healers, now recede from the space. All right, that was very interesting. I enjoyed that a lot. Bringing you all back on gallery, I'll allow you the opportunity to unmute if you have clarifying questions. I will say that if there is somebody in this space who understands scalar technology and has a mind for science, that device could be very useful for clearing spaces. And it's a lot simpler than you might imagine. So in other words, electricity could be assistive in making the device more potent, but it's not required. So I'd be curious to know if anyone knows anything about that. I know very little, but I would be happy to answer questions about that in another session. Does anyone have a question for now? All right. I guess we are complete for today. Sending you all tons of love. Enjoy the beautiful new year, the fire horse. And thank you all for being here.